Welcome to On Cloud, the podcast for cloud professionals, where we break down the state of cloud computing today and how you can unleash the power of cloud for your enterprise.
Hey, welcome back to the On Cloud podcast. I'm your host, Gary Rora, live from AWS reInvent 2024 in Las Vegas. It's been a busy week with big announcements, from compute and databases to chips and AI. Here are my top 3 picks. First up are the developments on Amazon S3 with S3 tables and S3 metadata. Amazon S3, as we all know, is simple storage service for storing objects, and one of the most widely used engines for querying the Parquet files in Amazon S3 is Apache Iceberg. And with S3 tables, you now have fully managed support for Apache Iceberg for faster analytics, storing, and managing tabular data at scale. Think about running queries across billions of files containing petabytes or even exabytes of data. With Amazon S3 metadata, it automatically captures metadata as the objects are uploaded real-time into S3 buckets. Metadata like size, source of objects, and even custom ones like tags or product SKUs, transaction IDs, and content rating. And it keeps this metadata updated as the objects change, making it easier to discover and understand your data for business analytics and real-time inference applications. Next up on my list is the next generation of AI chips with Trainium 2. Trainium chips are a family of AI chips designed to train and deploy your most demanding models, like large language models, multimodal models, and diffusion transformers. And the race here has always been to reduce training times and inference latency. That's the time between when an AI system receives an input and generates the corresponding output. As a reference point, the first-gen Trainium chip was launched in 2022, and Amazon used 80,000 Trainium and Inferentia chips at their most recent Prime Day to power Rufus, their shopping assistant. Trainium 2 delivers up to 4 times the performance of its predecessor, and they're already powering latency-optimized versions of Llama 3.1 and Claude 3.5 models on Amazon Bedrock. But here's where it got really interesting. Apple joined the stage at AWS reInvent to reveal how they are using Trainium 1 for services like search and achieving a 40% boost in performance. And with Trainium 2, Apple is exploring pre-training new models to build Apple Intelligence. And topping my list at number 1 is Amazon Nova, AWS's brand new foundational model for generating text, images, and video. These models understand and generate content in over 200 languages. They can also understand up to 30 minutes of video content, and they can generate 6-second studio-quality video clips through text prompts and reference images on Nova Reel, which even allows you to customize camera motions like pans and 360-degree rotations. And with the Nova Pro model, you have a context window of 300,000 tokens, which for reference means it can process code bases with over 15,000 lines of code. This is setting new standards in multimodal intelligence and agentic workflows that require calling APIs and tools to complete complex workflows. So that's all for today's episode. Stay tuned for more tech talks, and thanks for listening to the On Cloud podcast.
Thank you for listening to On Cloud, and visit the Deloitte On Cloud blog at deloitte.com/US/Deloitte-on-cloud-blog. Be sure to rate and review the show on your favorite podcast app. This podcast is produced by Deloitte. The views and opinions expressed by podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Deloitte. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice or services of any kind. For additional information about Deloitte, go to deloitte.com/about.